welcome, whoever decided to watch this video. I'm doing a live stream right now, kind of, I guess. So I guess it's just gonna be me playing video. But yeah, so I guess the purpose of this is really it's a general introduction into health and fitness, especially for for gamers, because there's a huge perception. Maybe it's a misperception, but that gamers are lazy. So I'm going to talk about my interest of fitness, and hopefully it influences some folks in a positive way. So we're playing Warframe right now. I'm trying to decide what we should do, because I don't really know. Let's see. I guess one of the things I could do, since I am bored, is show off the Spectres, and we can do a defense mission. We can do Tower 1 defense. Yeah, that seems easy enough. I'll do it solo because people don't like a crazy person talking on the mic. Alright. Let's do it. God, fucking thing. So, I guess right now, I could talk about sort of what I'm playing in general. I finally got Final Fantasy X HD. I got it for my Vita, and started playing that a few weeks ago when I got it. So I had a gift card, so I was like, okay, I'll buy that. And now I can't stop playing it, so I'm going through it. I'm gonna platinum it for sure. I never actually finished it when I played it on PS2. I got pretty close to the end, but just never finished it. Part of it's because I was playing on my original fat PS3, which was backwards compatible, and then it broke, so I couldn't do that anymore. I think they updated it to phase out the backwards compatibility anyways, so I'm throwing on a Spectre right now. He's gonna help me out. I probably should have used Nova for doing defense on myself, but I say stubborn. So let's see, what else am I playing? I'm also playing Transistor on the PS4. Really like that game. Bought the soundtrack. It's got a great soundtrack. Perfect for just driving around and listening to video game soundtracks, because that's what normal people do. I'm also planning on platinuming Dokuro on PS Vita. It was a PlayStation Plus game. I got it for free, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll platinum it. But the problem is, I'm towards the end, and I'm not really a huge fan of puzzle games, so I'm getting a little impatient with it. It's a little frustrating. But I'm almost there, so maybe I'll platinum it one day. Maybe just not for a while. I'm also platinuming PlayStation All-Stars on Vita. I would platinum it on PS3, but I basically said goodbye to my PS3. I mean, I still have it, but I'm just playing PlayStation 4 and Vita, so I'm stubborn like that. And I'm also platinuming the newest Infamous Second Son. I really like that game a lot. And I'm not platinuming that one to get it out of the way, I'm platinuming because I really enjoy it. So right now I'm probably about halfway through the second playthrough as evil. Played through the first playthrough as good. In case, you know, you didn't have your deductive reasoning going on. This would just be so much easier with people asking me questions. Well, what I hope is that I'll have time to do one of these at least once a month. I know that's not consistent or constant enough for today's viewing audience and their expectations of content streaming, but I think what I can afford right now is about once a month. We'll see. But yeah, those are the games I'm playing right now. So I'm platinuming Dokuro and PlayStation All-Stars because I think the very basic thing that everyone should probably know is that it's calories in, calories out. Though that's an oversimplified explanation of fitness and all that, it's a very umbrella way to look at it. In other words, you know, if you're in a caloric deficit or if you're eating less food, you're going to lose weight. Less food than your resting metabolic rate. And if you're eating more food than your resting metabolic rate, you're going to gain weight. And there's a lot of things that influence that, like your activity level and your body composition, your age, things like that. So again, at least this stream will get dedicated to basics, unless we get some questions about specifics. So yeah, so you might ask, well, is that it? Are all calories the same? Or you might know everything and I'm just giving you things you already know, but no, not all calories are the same. So, protein, so every gram of protein is 4 calories. Every gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories. And every gram of fat is 9 calories. You might be thinking that, oh, well then I should just eat less fat because fat obviously has more calories. Well, yes and no. There's a lot of folks who have recently jumped on this idea of high fat, moderate or low carb, and or moderate protein diets, which makes sense. Because if you're primarily eating fat, you're primarily using it as a fuel source, so you're going to primarily burn fat. And it might seem like this is a great idea, but you have to remember that you're consuming more fat, so yes, it's going to be your primary fuel source, but at the same time, you're still consuming more fat, and probably the same amount of calories as you would be if you were just doing the typical Western diet, which is moderate to high carbs, low fat, and high protein for people who actually track. So in other words, if you went from eating 215 grams of protein a day, 215 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fat to eating 215 grams of protein, well actually no, let's say 200 grams of protein, and then we'll say 120 grams of carbs and probably something like 80 or 90 grams of fat, then yeah, you're probably gonna switch to burning the fat as your primary fuel source, but you're still eating the same amount. So it's not that it necessarily more effectively helps you lose weight, but for some people it's easier for them to remain consistent and dedicated to their diet. And there's some studies that have come out about the danger of high carb diets. I mean, the thing that I think the most important thing to take away from those is that when they say high carb, they're also associating with high sugar. So of course, higher sugar, especially processed sugars, greater disease, diabetes risk, and things like that. Greater heart disease risk. But I mean, let's say you're eating, your primary carb source is quinoa, black rice, some Cliff Bars, and maybe the occasional bag of jelly beans. You're what I think, I'm not credentialed at all, so there might be something that disagrees with me, and if it's by someone who has a PhD, then by all means they're correct. But what I believe is that if that's what you're doing, you know, a jelly bean here and there, Cliff Bars, brown rice or black rice, quinoa, those are all pretty dense sources, excluding the jelly beans, of course. But your relative disease risk is going to be better than the average American or average person on that same diet, and probably going to be the same, if not better, or maybe a little worse, who knows, than someone on a higher fat diet. So it's all very conditional, I guess, one way to put it. And the one thing you have to look out for these studies is who the participants are. The one thing that has been made abundantly clear about the fat studies is that they've been done on a range of individuals, not just obese individuals, but also on healthy, lean individuals, marathon runners, and things like that. Now, speaking of marathon runners, a high-fat diet actually makes sense for marathon runners because if you're avoiding disease risk, right, and you're a marathon runner or you're an ultra-endurance athlete, you're generally going to be consuming upwards of 700, if not more, grams of carbs a day. Maybe even as high as, some studies have said even as high as like 900 or over 1,000, which is pretty ridiculous. Because that's greater than 4,000 grams of 4,000 calories from carbs a day, and you know, you can eat as much rice as you want, but you're still going to be consuming an absorbent amount of sugar. So for ultra endurance athletes and for marathoners, and they're like, going a high-fat diet actually makes a lot of sense because it lowers their long-term disease risk and it actually improves how they utilize fuel sources while they're performing. So for me, I'm just not a weekend warrior, but I am an avid fitness person. I am a gym rat. But for me, a high-fat diet doesn't necessarily yield the same long-term benefits because I don't have to put my body through the same sort of strenuous activity. So yeah. I think I sort of got off topic there.
Do you choose to leave now or
Alright, let's see if I can make it to 10 by myself. I swear to God, if I don't, I'm gonna cry.
Continue to defend. You will be rewarded for your bravery.
I'm really liking these specters. And this gun, Marilock. Oh man, I'm just on fire right now. Sad, I have no one watching my live stream right now. It's okay. I'll get there. I chose Warframe because it said that 100 and something people were watching Warframe live streams. One person joined me, and as soon as they heard me rambling, I think they left. That's fair. That's fair. So yeah, I really like the Spectres. I'm still haven't built the other ones. Let's see, I've got the Vapor Spectre, but I also have the Cosmic and the other two, whatever the two are. Some tougher variation of them, I guess. I guess I can show off the new melee system too, but I'm not necessarily the best person to probably show that off. Try it out. But yeah, so there's the long version of what I wanted to introduce about nutrition. I think when it comes to general fitness, it's best to think about nutrition first. Nutrition as an afterthought is always the best way to set yourself up for failure. Like, exercise, like people say it all the time, exercise is only 20-30% of what your outcome is, and 70 to 80% is always going to be your nutrition, which is true, because you can't out-train a bad diet. I mean, you can try, but it's not going to be good for you. You're going to overtrain yourself 9 times out of 10, and you're not going to enjoy it. So when it comes to exercise, it depends what your goals are, right? So if your goal is to just maintain whatever muscle mass you have, then good on you. Just focus on your nutrition, and if you just enjoy lifting, then just do whatever. If you're just trying to maintain what you have, and you're not like a physique athlete or a bodybuilder, then there's really not much I could probably tell you other than just challenge yourself, and don't neglect your posterior chain, like doing squats, deadlift, and things like that. Because even if you're just recreationally lifting, even if you're just doing it for your own health, it helps reduce your injury risk for other things. So if you strengthen your posterior chain, you're less likely to injure yourself when you're lifting bags or anything. Even if you lift it incorrectly, because you've created the muscles and strengthened your stabilizers, you're less likely to injure yourself than if you were not to lift at all for posterior chain. That's a little thing. So for someone who does want to put on muscle, or just get stronger, or anything, there's a few different rep ranges that you probably have already heard about. One is 1 to 3 rep range. 1 to 3 rep range is, according to Cletio Para's Facebook and his personal postings, he talks about the 1 to 3 rep range as purely neurological. In other words, it's you're not going to see a lot of size come out of it, but you will see strength. And it helps break things down. And in the end, I mean, greater strength will help you put on more size, if that's your goal. Because, you know, if you can lift more weight, then when you get to the volume of necessary to build muscle mass, then you're going to be able to do more weight at a higher volume, which will initiate greater response for growth hormone and all that good stuff. So now for someone who wants to get lean muscle, they don't want to be huge, well, first of all, don't take steroids, because then you won't get ginormous, and also you'll avoid a plethora of health risks. But generally 5 to 12 that's like a really wide range. That covers everything. If I were to say just do something 5 to 12. Now personally, I like to do something 3 to 5 for the first day of the body part during the week, and the second day I'll do something like 8 to 12, because it's good to hit both ranges. There's no really perfect solution. 4 sets of 12 for squats. I was so frustrated because I never got anything out of it. But now when I'm doing lower weight and things like that, or sorry, heavier weight and lower rep, and then 8 to 10. 8 to 10 and 8 to 12 is good for increasing the volume in the muscle. It's kind of in between the dense muscle and then what comes after, which is muscle endurance. So it's good for kind of funneling nutrients to your muscles, I guess. And then the last one is like 12 to 15 or higher, which is generally muscle endurance. Muscle endurance isn't bad, especially if you're trying to mix things up. So if you plateaued and you could only do 6 reps with the weight on bench press, and you don't want to give up that weight, then one thing you can do is make one day your day where you try to beat your rep max for that particular weight for bench press, and let's say you want to get to 9 reps instead of 6. Well, then on another day of the week, you would work on muscle endurance, so you would do bench press for 15 to 20 reps and just build that muscle endurance. Because what happens is glycogen gets depleted, and then your muscles, the pump, it makes it harder for your muscles to fire off. And I'm only speaking in terms that I know. I could be improperly using them. So I encourage you to do your own research on the explanation behind some of these things. So I'm just trying to give you, again, gamers, I don't think gamers are lazy. I think gamers are more active than people realize. Well, there was actually, a little off track, but there was actually an article posted about how gamers are more social than people who don't play video games. Like they have more friends or something like that. It was posted on IGN. I didn't actually read it, but I saw the title. Very interesting. If it's true. Again, study parameters are always important to be critical of that. Because they could have done it on, like, people who are in their 40s, and that wouldn't necessarily be indicative of all video gamers. If it was a video gamers, some group of 10 to 12-year-olds, and then another group of 18 to 24, and the last group of 40 to 50-year-old gamers, then yeah, that might be indicative that gamers are in fact more social. Still no one watching me, but that is okay. I think we're having a decent conversation right now. I say decent because I'm running out of things to talk about. And if I haven't gotten tired of my own voice yet, that means that we're still doing okay. I worked so hard to get Zephyr. And now all I think is that it's like a decent class to use, or decent weapon to use. My favorite one right now is Ashe, for sure. I love Ashe. Ashe is the kick-assiest weapon, I think. They just released Loki Prime for PC, which I never used Loki, so I don't know if I am excited or different. I think the thing I'm most excited for Warframe at least is the inclusion of player ships. I'm really curious about how that will be going. Man, I hope I get a good reward out of this, because I don't know if I can make it to 15 waves. I'd feel pretty accomplished if I did, though. Let's see what we get.
Extraction is
Power
ready.
1 mobile defense.
Unless you can handle more of the enemy.
Nah. I've got
Keep
full
fighting.
revives.
Another opportunity
and
to
more
extract
specters.
will appear
I
soon.
think we'll be okay. What level does it say he is? 11. So I think your Vapor Spectre matches either the median or the lowest level of the enemies you're going against, because I was using the same Spectre on Series, and on Series it was like level 24 or 21 or something like that. Oh, there we go. I'm really digging the Spectres though. I'm not like some of the studs out there on the internet who can play all by himself or herself and clear out a whole 3 waves of defense, or 3 tiers of defense on his own, her own. Someone, one gentleman was playing this using the same weapon. Probably had a better setup than I did. But he was using this weapon. He was just wrecking shop on, I think it was either T2 or T3 mobile defense, which is truly impressive. I envy that talent. Well, I mean, I guess I could talk a little bit about nutrition, since I have no questions. If you were wondering, because I was talking about high fat versus high carb diets earlier, if you're wondering what a high carb diet might look like, I mean, you could use the guidelines. There's some guidelines for figuring out how much you should be eating of what. But generally, holy crap, that's not looking good. That thing will probably explode before I do. Generally, what you need to know is that, you know, for protein, you can probably make it by 1.2 to 1.5 grams per body weight, lean body weight. Let's see what else. Let's see what for carbohydrates. That one's a little bit more variable. I would go with fat and then figure out the rest for carbohydrates. That's what I do. If I were to make my own program, that is, nutritional program. So what did I say? I say 1.2 and 1.5 for protein, and then you do 0.4, 0.45 grams of fat per lean body weight pound. Or, and I think for carbs, it depends sort of where you want it. If you want to be in a deficit, figure out how many calories you need, and then whatever the calories. So then multiply 1.5 grams of protein times your pounds of body, which fat times body weight times 9. Then you get that calories, and let's say that ends up equaling 2,000 calories, right? So you still need carbs in there. And let's say your deficit would be 2,300. So then you want to eat maybe, oh, that's actually way too low now that I think about it. Let's see. Let's say your deficit is 2,600 calories. And you have 2,000 right now, and all you need is protein. So whatever 600 divided by 4 is, that's how many carbs you want to eat a day. How many grams of carbs you want to eat a day. So that's one method of doing it. Figuring it out that way. I mean, it worked for me the first time I did it. I saw progress pretty fast when I did it that way. However, there's better ways. There's apps out there for folks that aren't nutritionists. In fact, the Nutritionist app is my most recommended app because it'll pump those numbers up for you. No stress. If you just follow that for nutrition, you'll be good. But I thought I'd give you the numbers in case you're interested in figuring it out yourself. The Nutritionist app is like $2 maybe? I don't know. I don't think it's that much, but it was definitely worth every penny. And again, so that's high carb. So for high fat, it would be kind of different. It would be whatever I explained just now. It's probably close to maybe, I don't know. I can't figure it out in my head because I'm playing video games. This is what video games does your mind when you try to talk. Some people can talk and play video games at the same time. I am helpless, I think. What am I trying to say? I don't know, but that's what you need to know about calories. Something that I found recently that people have probably known about for a while is reverse dieting, which Layne Norton talks about. I'm guessing he's the first one to talk about it. I'm sure other people have been close to what he was talking about, but it's probably not exactly the same. But basically reverse dieting does a few things for you. It helps while minimizing the amount of body fat that you gain. And then it also is a good way for you to, I wouldn't say repair your metabolism, because yeah, of course you can get metabolic damage, but it's not really about repairing. It's more like, I think it's more like re-equalizing it, re-establishing it, redefining it maybe. Because what happens a lot of times is people diet down, right? And they get in such a severe deficit that their body goes into survival mode. I mean, that's actually pretty common, but the difference between like a normal deficit versus severe deficit is that you stay in that deficit for so long that your body can't hope to burn as many calories without cutting into some of your muscle stores. So what it does is it lowers your body will lower its metabolism to maintain its equilibrium, I guess you could say. So reverse dieting, what it does is it aims to basically make it so your metabolism can get fired up enough where you can still lose considerable amounts of fat while eating normal amounts of food. So I might get down to like 1,200 calories on a deficit. I haven't done that since like middle school, but let's say that's my deficit, right? Well, then my body is going to lower my metabolism, and I plateau, and I'm not doing anything. And I can't figure out why I can't lose any more fat. So one thing I can do, there's two things. One of the things is you can have sort of like a refeed week, which is only going to be a temporary solution, or you can reverse diet, which is a more long-term solution. So reverse dieting, you're very slowly and intentionally adding calories back into your food. Generally, you don't add calories back to protein, but you'll add it mostly to fat and carbs, primarily carbohydrates. You want to keep a decent macronutrient balance if you're doing it this way. Let's see. Basically what will happen is as you deliberately and slowly, again very slowly, put carbs back in, or calories back into your eating, your metabolism will recover and maybe even increase. Actually, well, that's the point of it. So let me just make sure I'm not dying, and I'll continue this topic. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Is my thing still alive? I guess not. Okay, so what was I saying? Yes, deliberately bad adding calories back. So basically what will happen is your metabolic rate will increase with your calories, again, slowly increasing. I'll say it over and over again. And as your metabolism increases and you're eating more food, so you're bound to gain a little bit of fat. You're going to gain a little bit of fat, but it won't be considerable now. And then when you're ready to start cutting back again, going into active fat loss, your metabolism is higher now than it was last time, so you're able to eat more while still firing at the same rate, while letting your metabolism burn at the same rate as it was before, or greater than the rate it was before. So what this means is if you were eating 1,200 in your last active fat loss cycle, now you can eat 1,600 in your last active fat loss cycle. Again, it's for sustainability, long-term health kind of thing. Because realistically, you know, most people want a quick fix. This is not a quick fix, this is more long-term, but if you're patient, it will pay dividends greatly. I haven't started my reverse dieting yet, I'm still in active fat loss, but I've recently been a lot more slow about taking calories out and putting calories in. Especially with the taking calories out, I've seen greater progress, because if you take things out too drastically, you'll see change in the first week or two, but then after that, your progress really halts and stalls. So it's important that you give your body a chance to adapt, not give your body a chance to go into survival mode, but effectively adapt to what you're doing. I'm surprised I made it this far. Loving this gun right now. So, oh, son of a monkey. Alright, well, guess that's a lesson learned. We'd probably try that one more time. I'm confident this time. I think we can do it. Let's do one more. I'll find something to talk about. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, I must commend you on your patience. Most folks stop watching something after a minute or 2 minutes. I don't plan on breaking this up all that much. Let's see. What do we want to build? Build a phase specter. I think I can spare that much. Oh, I see, I see. Who do I want my phase specter? Let's see. I say we do either Ash or Rhino. I'll do Ash. Let's do Ash. Where are you, Ash? Let's give you Paris Prime. Is there anything else I can add to this thing? Alright, well, that'll do. I'll change this to... I don't think it matters that it's unranked. Well, actually, no, it does. What am I talking about? Shoot. Well, I'm impatient, so I'm going to give him... Let's get a... Okay, I could have swore I had. There it is. Yes. Let's get put on. Alright, so now, if you're wondering how the heck you do Spectres now, after you have that loadout, you select the Spectre you want to create, so phase, build, and we'll say apply. Yes. Awesome. So that's awesome. That's not what we wanted. Change back to Zephyr. In case you're wondering, the only Warframe I paid for, sadly, is the Vault, before they made it easier to obtain. I swear to God, I did so many survival missions and never even got close. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do T1 defense again. I think we can handle it. It's either gonna be that or survival. I would say survival would be easier. Don't think I can promise that. Let me think. Alright, let's do survival. Let's do it. Anyways, what was I saying? What were we talking about? I think it was reverse dieting, right? So for me, I'm going to stay in my active fat loss phase until I hit a target weight or a target body fat percentage, and then I'm going to start reverse dieting. And then I'll reverse diet for anywhere between 10 and 14 weeks, and after those 10 14 weeks,
is to distract the enemy while
I'll go back into a active fat loss stage.
Make your presence known.
And I mean, who knows if it'll work for me? I think it will. We could talk about video games if you'd rather do that.
Life support has been cut off.
I need to get myself a PlayStation camera so I can get my
Hold
face.
on. I'm sending auxiliary life support.
These things.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time.
It'd be cool if people started watching these videos. It'd be cool if people cared enough. We'll find out, I guess. If we post them.
Look for personal life support nodules dropped by fallen enemies.
I think my goal is to make it at least 15 minutes. I think we can do that. Yeah, I think we can do that.
Life support on the way.
I gotta say, for survival, Zephyr's definitely not the most fun to use. Actually, just in general, Zephyr's not really the most fun to use, when I think about it. Unless you want to screw with people and get really, really, really high in the air on some of these maps. In fact, most of the time when I use the Tailwind, I end up getting reset because the map doesn't want me that high.
Another life support capsule is now available.
You're all a bunch of jerks. There we go. But yeah, I gotta say, I'm really digging the Spectres. I'm really hoping I can make the most out of having them. I guess the only trouble is that they cost lots of money, which is fine. It's fine, because, you know, it makes sense, because otherwise if you overuse them, obviously, if you can, I mean, I'm not that great, but if I was a little bit better, I might be able to pull off, like, a T3 capture mission, maybe exterminate, maybe not capture, maybe exterminate mission with one Spectre. It wouldn't definitely not be this one, it would be probably the one I just created, but
Get ready for a capsule.
I get why they wouldn't want you to have an abundance of these things, because if you did, it would make the game a little unbalanced. Oh shoot, totally forgot that I had to keep myself alive. And I was saying we could make the 15
That should
minutes.
keep you going for a while.
That is
Life
just too
support
far.
activated. Additional life support has arrived.
Alright, probably fill up at 50 again, if I can remember. There we go. I might show off some of the melee 2.0. I like how I say that like I can actually do it. Let's see. Not bad enough as it is with a gun. Totally forgot how to use it. I like how you can vaporize enemies with your weapons.
Tenno, prepare for life support.
So I was using the Nikana level 30. It was all buffed out and stuff with cool stuff, and it was just so easy to kill people. Well, I should say Corpus and Green and things like that, because they're not people. They're aliens. Although could aliens be considered people? I wonder.
I've delivered another life support capsule.
I think I traded these things. What do you think?
Life support has been replenished.
This is how it turned out.
Extraction is available if you need it.
Do I need bursting prime?
The
barrel?
operative has just made their first discovery.
I don't
Keep
know.
up the good work.
Well, if we're not going to talk about fitness, because no one's asking me questions, we can talk about E3. I watched it. It was cool, like E3 is. Oh balls, let's get out of here. But for me, I wasn't really stoked about Destiny. I mean, I remember seeing it last year and thinking it was pretty cool, but it wasn't like I was highly anticipating it until I started watching people play it. I was one of those poor schmucks that didn't realize you had to actually do something to get into the alpha. Silly, I know.
That should keep you going for a while.
Oh, balls. Let's do it.
But
yeah, so I watched people play the alpha, and I thought it looked pretty cool. I thought it looked fun. See how it is. I mean, it's not I think my most anticipated shooter-esque game is The Division. I think the story is really cool. I think the universe is cool. I think it looks pretty sweet. The other thing is the new Rainbow Six game. That also looks really awesome. My last Rainbow Six game was Rainbow Six Vegas 2, which, good gracious, that was so much better than the first one, at least on PlayStation 3. I don't know about the other systems, but the first one on PlayStation 3 just looked like a half-assed port, so it wasn't all that spectacular. The mechanics were fine. They definitely felt smoother to me in the second one.
Life support activated.
But I mean, I don't know if it was all that different. Maybe I just like pretending like I know what I'm talking about.
Tenno, prepare for life support.
This is one of the few useful things that Zephyr's good at. I can't even get over here. There we go. Yeah, Destiny looks cool, The Division, Tom Clancy, Rainbow Six. I'm also really excited about The Witcher 3.
Additional life support has arrived.
That looks good. That looks sweet. I'm trying to remember what else they showed. Below looks really cool. I think it's an Xbox One exclusive though, so unfortunately I will not have my hands on that one. They showed off GTA 5 for PS4, but it is coming to Xbox One. The only thing I gotta say about that is GTA 5 was, I had a really good time playing on my PS3, and then it was done. I was kind of like, okay, I did this. What would be really cool, I actually tweeted BioWare about this. I said I would gladly pay $10, $15 just to get Mass Effect 3 multiplayer on next gen, because that was something I really enjoyed. I mean, it's kind of like, in terms of interest level, it's kind of like Warframe, where you're really interested in it for a little bit, and then you're kind of burnt out, but then you're really interested again. But man, my favorite one was the female class with the sword and I think electric abilities or something, like magnetic maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. Serves me right. But yeah, no, that was really fun. I love playing the multiplayer for that. I mean,
I've delivered another
that would be awesome if they just did a spin off that, or even if they just made, on a similar thinking, they did that for GTA 5 online multiplayer, and I don't think they should price it at $15, but if they priced it at $5 or even free, I would play it. I mean, I think it could survive as a free to play easily. Actually, I mean, Warframe's doing great as a free to play, because when you find that one thing you want, you have to pay platinum for. But yeah, GTA 5 could easily make it as a free to play. I think they should do that.
We will all share in this bounty. Hold out as long as you can.
Can I make it 5 more minutes? Where in the world is this thing?
Get ready for a capsule.
Let's see what we
Life support has been replenished.
Can we do it? Oh, what in the world is that?
Another life support capsule is now available.
See, Helldivers, that looks really cool. Really excited for Helldivers. The Kingdom Hearts remix for 2.5, well no, not remix, what they call it, the remastered 2.5. I would be excited for it, but it's only on PS3. If it was on Vita, oh my god, I would play the crap out of that. I mean, I freaking did that with Final Fantasy X. I mean, it's partly trophies, but it's also because I think the Vita is the perfect place for the old games like that.
Life support activated.
Man, they should do that. I also wish they would bring Final Fantasy 12 to the PlayStation Vita. That was really fun game too.
Life support incoming.
Man, I'm so bad at this game. Glad they improved the vibrations on the controller for Warframe, because before it would do it for like the
I've
first
delivered another life support
few seconds
capsule.
and then just cut out.
That should keep you going for a while.
Oh, we're almost at 15, man. I am feeling like a stud. Hope that keeps
Life
up.
support incoming.
Oh my gosh, you gotta put all the way up there. See now, if you were listening earlier and you heard me talk about how Zephyr isn't my favorite, you might be like, oh, what about that tailwind? It's really useful. Well, yeah, so is Excalibur's friggin' super jump. Doesn't make that. I don't think they're that different. I mean, you get greater
Additional
aerial
life
control
support has arrived.
with Zephyr, for sure. I'm so happy. I made it to 15 minutes. Although I thought I'd make it to 15 waves in the last part, and then I got killed.
Look what our Tenno operative
Okay,
just
I can deal
found.
with Power 2 Cap.
They could not do this without you.
Let's see if we can make another 5 minutes, though. I think we can. I believe. Oh, damn it. Not what I meant to do. No, oh my god. Look at them all the time.
Tenno, prepare for life support. I've delivered another life support capsule. That should keep you going for a while.
In case you haven't been watching. Oh yeah, I never talked about my loadouts, did I? Well, this thing has Serration, multi-shot or something? That's as high as I can go. I maxed that one out, the multi-whatever. I'll take the elevator like a normal person. I also got the mods from the Tetris Doom and the other event for PlayStation 4 on here too. One of those might have been the Malignant Force, although it might be for the pistol.
Get ready for a capsule.
Whichever one has the 60%, yeah. Basically the thing's a damage beast. I just bought a blueprint for the newest bow, the newest free bow at least. Haven't made it, because my Paris Prime is freaking decked out. The one bow I do really want is the Stalker bow. I do really want that. Finally got one drop from the Stalker. That was
Additional
the
life
kunai.
support has arrived.
I really wish it had been the bow. Guess I can't be that sad about it.
Life support has been replenished.
The first few times I got like a friggin' slide dash or whatever the first ability is for Excalibur. Where in the world is my little helper? There he is.
Life support on the way.
Cool. Very. I think we can make it to 20. Oh, why did I get so close?
Another life support capsule is now available.
Alright, I think we've reached
Life
the
support
limits
activated.
of how far I'm gonna get. Let's go to the extraction. Well, that is just hilarious that it's right here. How to respect a friend.
The longer you fight,
that's
the
fine.
more
Get
successful
outta
we.
here.
Mission
Well,
complete.
thank you for
Excellent
watching
work,
this
Tenno.
video. I hope something useful came out of it. Hopefully I'll have another one up. And hopefully I'll have some more interaction so we have a better conversation than just me blabbing about things and getting off track and things. So, but yeah, thank you. I hope you watch the next one, of course. Alright, bye.